Hi there, Mr. Martinez here, and today we will be talking about transplanting. So remember that word, transplant. It's one of your words where you really need to know that word prefix trans, which means across or change. You might have read about it in the Transcontinental Railroad. So we're going to talk about moving plants from a small pot to a bigger pot or a bigger setting. The other word we're going to use today is rootbound. This is why we are transplanting, because the plant has gotten too big for the container it's in. So let me give you an example of what I mean by rootbound. Rootbound, the word, this is a compound word, so you know what root is. Bound means to tie. So when the roots are tied up, it will look something like this on the bottom. You can see the bottom, the roots have nowhere else left to go. So now we have to put them into a bigger space. This is a salvia, but this morning I'm going to be working with tomato plants. So you can see the smallest of tomato plants, and then the next size is a 4-inch pot. This is a gallon pot. This is a 3-gallon pot. This is also maybe a 5-gallon pot. And you see they get progressively bigger. So they become root bound, and now you have to transplant them. So what do? One of the things that's really important with tomato plants that you can give them a big boost is that if you look along the stem, you will see a lot of little hair follicles. Those hair follicles, if they're submerged, that means put under the ground, will also develop roots. So this is where I really start transplanting. You can see these sucker leaves, which are called the cotyledon. They're kind of in the way. I usually kind of like pinch them out like this. And then you're going to use your finger, like the peace sign, as a fork to hold the plant as you pop it out. You can see this one, the root is barely getting to the bottom. So now I can go to this, or I can wait a little longer. It's not root bound yet, but it's getting there. Okay? So if I were to put it into this pot, I would submerge it all the way up to here in soil. I plant it a little deeper. That way in about 2 or 3 weeks, all these little hair follicles turn to more new roots, and it will help the new plant sustain as big as it's going to get. That's what I've been doing with these. If you can believe it, this plant here in the back was this size 2.5 weeks ago. And I just kept potting it up and submerging it, and now all these little ones coming off the side are actually secondary plants. So this is my tomatoes, okay? Let me give you an idea of where I'm going with some other type of vegetables you might grow in your garden. These are lettuces, and you can see the difference in development. These bigger ones here are ready to be transplanted straight into the garden or bigger pots. These smaller ones do not have a good enough root system to survive yet, so I would not do that with these. These can go into either a 4-inch pot or straight into your bed. So before I finish, let me show you what my bed looks like. Okay, come over here. Come on, me. Here's my bed where I've put in an array of 6 per row. I haven't finished the 3rd array, but you can see I have 6, 12, and 3 more is 15. And I do have some herbs over toward this side. I have parsley and basil. And I have some kohlrabi and onions over there. I have not filled in my bed. It's a project in progress. So anyway, that's it. They're big enough to go in here and survive now. And if you water, do not water during the heat of the day. Make sure you water early in the morning so that the leaves have time to dry off before the heat of the sun hits them, okay? So in closing, transplanting is moving your plants from a smaller container to a bigger one. Why? Because they're getting or about to become root bound. Okay? Any questions? See you in class. Thank you.